How are you today? I hope you all are doing well. Well, today we're having math and we'll just have a review on our topics for this week. It's still the same student book, page 218 to 220, and our workbook is 196 to 198. Today we're going to have a review on area and perimeter. We looked at area and perimeter in the course of the week, so let's just do a quick review on the topic. Our objective is to be able to calculate perimeters and areas of shapes. So let's have an overview of area and perimeter. Of course, you know that area is different from perimeter in calculating. To calculate perimeter, you have to find the sum of all the sides outside a shape. So you see the perimeter we have there in the picture. You have to look at all of the sides and add everything up. So in a case where you are given only two sides, like the blue rectangle we have in the first picture, we have 8 units and 5 units. It's not difficult to note the remaining sides because you know that in a rectangle, opposite sides are the same. So it means where you have 5 units, the opposite side is also 5 units. And where you have 8 units, the opposite side is equally 8 units. So you do the whole addition of 8 plus 8 plus 5 plus 5. Or you just do 2 times width plus length. And then you'll be able to have the perimeter of your rectangle. But what about the area? Basically, area requires that we count the square units inside the shape that we are finding the area for. So, in the rectangle we see here, you can see the rectangle is divided into the same shape of squares. So, if we count the squares in it, the total number of squares in it will be the area of this rectangle. Also in the second shape, the compound shape we have here, you count the number of squares we have and the total of it will be the area. So basically to find the area is length for a rectangle is length multiplied by width. And for a square is just still the same, but for the square we say it is side multiplied by side. So perimeter is the addition of all the sides, while area is the total sum of all the space inside the shape, or you count the square units inside the shape. All right, let's go ahead. Let's try to find the perimeters of these shapes. We have a square first, and we know the perimeter of a square is side times 4, or you can say side plus side plus side plus side, which is equally the same as side times 4. Now, where are the sides of the square? We have the first side where you have the arrow. It's equal to the opposite one on the upper part as well, because opposite sides of a square are equal. At the same time, all sides are equal. And look at the other side of a square. It's also equal to the part where you have 5 centimeters, the opposite side. So all the sides of a square are equal. How many sides does a square have? 4 sides. So if, for example, this square has a side of 5 centimeters, how do we find the perimeter? To find the perimeter of the square, all we need to do is 5 multiplied by 4, which is the number of sides of the square. Or we can simply say 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, knowing well that all the sides are the same. So what's the answer? The perimeter for this shape is 20 centimeters. But if on the other hand, we were not given the side and we were given only the perimeter, if we're asked to find the side of a square, how do we solve it? What we simply do is If the perimeter, for example, the perimeter of this square is 40 and we're asked to find the sides, we don't know the sides. Everybody knows that the square has 4 sides and all the sides are the same. So what we simply do is we divide 40, or we divide 4, that's the number of sides of the square, by 40. That's 40 divided by 4. And what's our answer going to be? 10. So that means the side of the square is 10 centimeter. Each side will be 10 centimeter. Let's go to the perimeter of a rectangle. For a rectangle, to calculate the perimeter is 2 multiplied by length plus width. It's the same thing as saying length plus width. Now, where do we have our length? Our length is where you have the arrow popping in, and our width is the second side where you have a second arrow popping in. Now, please note that for the length, the two sides are equal. Remember, we said this when we studied quadrilaterals and the properties of polygons. Opposite sides of the rectangle are equal. So if one side of the rectangle is 7 centimeter, the opposite side will equally be 7 centimeter. Now, if the perimeter of this, or if we had 7 centimeter as the width of this square, and for the length we had 10 centimeter, let us try to find the perimeter. Now we know that the perimeter is 2 multiplied by length plus width. What is our length? 10 centimeter. And what is our width? 7 centimeter. So 10 plus 7 is 17. And our formula says 2 multiplied by length plus width. Since we now know that our length and width is 17 when added together, let's multiply it by 2. So our perimeter is 34 centimeters. But just like we found the side of the square, let's also do the same thing here. What if we were given only the perimeter and only one side? We're given only 10 centimeter, that's the length. How are we going to find the side, the missing side? Since we know that the total the sum of all the sides of the rectangle is 34 and opposite sides are the same, it means 10 plus 10 is 20. We have 10 already, so let's add the other side, which will give us 20. Now we are looking for the width, the two sides of the width. If we want to find the two sides of the width, what we do is, our perimeter is 34. And we know that both sides of our length is 20. If we add the two together, 10 plus the opposite side, which will also be 10. So our perimeter, 34, minus 20 is 34 minus 20 is 14. So if we subtract 34 from 20, we have 14. But remember, now our width is 14 centimeter. But remember, we have two sides of the width. So what will we do? We divide the value by 2. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. So we give one side 7, we give the other side as well 7. So our perimeter, the missing side, which is the width, is 7 centimeters. So let's see how to find areas. We've talked about perimeters, and we saw that perimeter is about adding all the sides. But area, on the other hand, is about multiplying two sides. While perimeter adds all the sides, area multiplies two sides, the length and the width. Let's look at the area of a square. It's simply side times side to find the area of a square. Remember, we said that a square has all equal sides. So this first side where the arrow is the same as where the second arrow is. So that's a side, and that the other arrow points to the other side. So if we have the side to be 7 centimeter, the side of the square is 7 centimeter. Let's try to find the area. Side times side. So what do we do? The area will simply be 7 multiplied by 7. And the answer is 49 centimeter square. Please remember, the answer for area will always be in centimeter square or meter square. Please remember that all the time. So our area here is 49 centimeter square. But if on the other hand we were given another area and there was no side, we were asked to find the side. So we have no side, but the question is, we have the area, find the side. How do we solve such question? Here we are given the area as 64 centimeters square and we are asked to find the sides. Knowing well that all the sides are the same, it means they have multiplied a number by itself to have 64 centimeters square, because the number must be the same. It must be a number that was multiplied by itself to give 64 centimeters square. So now what do we do? There are two things that I can advise you to do, or three. The first one, you can use your calculator and try to find the square roots. Now this symbol you see before the 64 or in front of the 64 is called square roots. Okay, so type in your calculator square root of 64. It will give you the answer. Or you simply go to your multiplication table and start searching for a number that gives you 64 when you multiply that number by itself. Because it is a square, side times side is a number by multiplied by the same number. So just search your multiplication table. The third thing which we'll do now is you can just start the multiplication manually. Multiply 1 by 1 is 1. 2 by 2, 4, 3 by 3, 9, 4 by 4, 16, 5 by 5, 25, 6 by 6, 36, 7 by 7, 49, 8 by 8 will give us 64. So what we have done is we have done the multiplication manually. Okay, so this you can do one of the three. Find the square root on the calculator, use your multiplication table, search for where you have a number that when multiplied by itself, it will give you 64. Or you do it manually just as we have just done it now. So it means that they must have multiplied 8 by 8 as the side times side, which gave them 64 centimeter square. So what does this imply? It is 8 times 8 that give us 64 square centimeter. It means our side is what? 8 centimeters. That is for the square. Now let's look at the rectangle. We have a rectangle here, and of course we always have the length and the width. Please remember, for a rectangle, the area is length times width to find the area of a rectangle. Now here is where we have the length, where the arrow just popped up is the length, and the width is the second arrow, where the second arrow just popped up. All right, now when you multiply the length by the width, you will find the area of a rectangle. For this rectangle, our length is 10 centimeter, and you know, if the length is 10 centimeter up, it is 10 centimeter down as well, because we have two lengths. The same thing applies for the width. So let's simply find the area of this rectangle. What is our length? 10 centimeter. And our width? 7 centimeter. So if the area is length times width, how do we find the area of this rectangle? 10 multiplied by 7. So what's our answer? 70. Area of this rectangle is 70 centimeter square. Now, just like we did for the square, let's also do the same for the rectangle. What if we were given another area and we were told to find the missing side? Of course, you will be given one of the sides, but you'll be told to find the other side. Then you'll be given the area as well. So let's try an example. We have a missing length. There is no length. We were only given the width of 7 centimeter. And let's see, probably they'll give us another area. All right, yes. The area here is 63 centimeters square, and it says we should find the length. How do we go about this? Excuse me. Now we know that our area is 63, and to arrive at the area, we must have multiplied the length by the width. We don't know the length, but we know the width. So 63 equals length multiplied by 7. Now, how do we find the length? By our simple arithmetic. What number do we multiply by 7 to give 63? What do we simply do? 63 divided by 7 in order for us to be able to know the length. So what does it mean? Our length is 9. If we divide 63 by 7, we have 9. So our length is 9. Length is 9 centimeters. That's quite easy. So today, students, we've been able to refresh our knowledge on how to find perimeter and area of shapes. I know you've gone through all your workbooks and the student books and you filled them all. It's good job from you guys. So just see this video and have a reminder, or just let it be like a reminder on what we learned this week. So till we have another lesson again, take care of yourselves and have a good day.